What's up, guys? Welcome to Under 1,000 Podcast. This is the podcast I do live on YouTube, where I invite another YouTube reptile breeder, enthusiast, hobbyist on, and we ask them a few questions to get to know them a little better while I introduce them to my subscribers and get introduced to their subscribers. You might hear my kids. They're up there. My daughter is apparently hurt, so my wife's gonna take care of that, so no worries. I'm pretty sure she's okay. But this is what happens when you do a live show, so this is what's happening. But yeah, we're gonna talk to another guest, a recurring guest. We had them before. We're gonna talk to them again, this time not about their ball pythons, because they have other reptiles, and we're gonna get into that. But before we do, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We're so close to 1,000. We're at 900 and I think 24. So once we hit 1,000, we will be doing our 1,000 subscriber giveaway. We're giving away a VPI Exanthic spinner, 50% pos het pied male, and he's coming from Royal Business Reptile. So go check them out on Instagram. Also, let them know I told you to tell them to start a YouTube channel because they got some awesome stuff and we want to see it. But yeah, before we get into our guests, let's go ahead and say thank you to our sponsor this week. And this week's sponsor is 212 Exotics. Yes, 212 Exotics is a ball python breeder, and he's been on the show, and he has other reptiles too. So go check out his channel. Links are in the description. Check out his Instagram. He just posted a new video Friday giving you an update on his clutch 5 and 6. So go see what he hatched out. He's going to show you the good and the bad side on that clutch, because it does happen in this breeding game, so you can find out how that is. He's very transparent and letting you know what's going on, and greatly appreciate that. And he's an awesome guy. Had him on here twice. Had a fun time with Rashad. Appreciate him so much. And he's a great guy to watch. So go subscribe to his channel and go follow him on Instagram. And he's on Facebook too. Or I think he's on TikTok. Yeah, he's on TikTok. He's done a couple TikToks as well. So go check him out. Greatly appreciate you being a sponsor for this episode, Rashad. First up, James. Hello, what's up? Reese's Pythons, what's up? Reese is in the house. James is in the house. Thank you guys for coming through. So without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce you to our guest this week.
What's up, Gershon?
What's up, guys?
Hey.
How you guys doing? Thanks for being a guest again. Greatly appreciate you.
Absolutely.
So,
I told Daryl last time, like, you're like my new best friend. Loved it.
So what I don't know if I did this on the episode you guys on. I've been having people introduce themselves to the live because I think it gives you more of it lets you get more personal with people when you say your name instead of me saying it, if that makes any sense. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
Oh,
Holly, that's all you. That's all you.
Yes. I'm the Holly portion of Daryl and Holly. So
What? No way.
Yeah. I don't really have much to say about myself because I'm pretty awkward, as you can tell on camera. If you ever watch any of our videos, I'm definitely the awkward one.
Am I like the only person who's ever introduced themselves at a business meeting? Hi, I'm Daryl from Exquisite Exotics. I've worked here for 4 years.
Oh yeah, no, that doesn't. I don't do that at like any job.
I'm
that
the
I've been
brains of the operation. She's the brawn of the operation.
She's the muscle.
Exactly.
Because I remember one video you guys talked about, Daryl, you had to stop doing the cleaning because you were trying to get it totally clean. And Holly was like, no, you want to keep some of the animals sitting there so they know that's their home. And that is a great tip.
She's a much faster cleaner than I am. I'm a slow cleaner. I'm a perfectionist at heart. That thing's got to be like spotless. So
Yeah, that is true.
That's her, man. All her.
Way too sterile. The snakes would be like, what in the, where am I? So,
I've never been in this place. Where
exactly.
I don't smell anything I'm familiar with.
Exactly. The only time you want it to be super sterile is after when the mom is laid, because otherwise, like, she won't eat as quickly. So you want it to be sterile so she doesn't keep smelling the eggs. Other than that, like, no. You got a little bit of urate stuck to the side. You don't have to go crazy and like scrub it off. So
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, I did.
So I've been testing something out the last 2 years. I haven't. Oh, there's a fly in here. I haven't been. I'll just give the girl a fresh tub, but I haven't been cleaning her off. And I've been seeing how that happens, and it usually takes them a week and go back on food. It's no longer than when I do clean the girls off and give them a fresh tub. So I've been just testing out and see what happens.
Yeah, we clean the girls.
That,
So
yeah,
that's interesting.
that's actually a good point. Maybe we could try with 1 or 2 of them, especially if she's laid like slug clutch.
Yeah.
And we're not like stressed per se.
Yeah.
That's actually a good we'll try that because it is a lot to soak them. And I feel like they're drowning themselves.
Exactly. I'll be so worried. I'll be like, and I'm like, I know I use what is it? Which one is good for like getting oil off of ducks? The soap. Dawn. Yeah. I use that one just to be safe because I know that's more safe for animals and stuff. But I still worry. So
we use Dawn too.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So if you haven't already, go ahead and go subscribe to Exquisite Exotics YouTube channel, and also go check out their Instagram and their Facebook. Are you guys on TikTok yet?
I just watch the videos.
If by on you mean laugh at things, yes.
Yes, I have wasted many hours on TikTok, and then I eventually posted a video for TikTok. So that's how the process goes. I watch it for 2 hours, and then eventually I post a video on TikTok that's like 10 seconds, and then I watch it for another hour, and I'm like, oh my god, I've been on TikTok for too long all day.
I haven't gotten on there to put a video yet, so
okay.
Yeah, so but I feel like I'm not old, but too old for some of these apps.
I understand. I understand.
Like TikTok, definitely one of them. Snapchat, I downloaded and then was like, I don't know what I'm doing, so I just kind of let it go. And didn't really.
I understand. I don't have Snapchat. I just made a GPSnakes Twitter, like maybe 3 weeks ago. And I'm just putting the same stuff I'm putting on my Instagram on there. I just have the less hashtags because Twitter don't let you do so many hashtags.
We had Twitter, and then we're like, this is not adding any value to us.
Yeah.
So we still have the account, but we don't do anything with it.
Okay. Yeah. I know I did it to where I'm going to set the Twitter up to where whatever I post on Instagram immediately goes to Twitter, so I don't have to go to that Twitter and do it all over again. So maybe even if it's out of sight, out of mind, and it starts building itself, cool. But if I have to do more effort to it, it's not building, I might just shut that down. That's what I'm going to do.
Understand.
Do your season cycle. Oh, is that about what animal does that?
So
isn't that like
it's typically for like colubrids?
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, which we don't do any colubrids. So we do cycle as far as temperature cycle. Like we put like in October we drop the temperature at night for our females and then bring it back up in like February's time frame. But it's only a night drop. It's not like a full drop.
Okay. Yeah, I don't even drop temperatures anymore. I stopped doing that maybe 3 years ago. Just because I don't even know why I stopped doing that, honestly. Now that I think about it. I think I just forgot to do it one year and they still bred and I got eggs. So I was like, well, clearly they're still going to breed no matter what. So just let it happen.
Our season always runs so late. We're doing it to try to get the season to happen sooner in the year instead of like this year. We're in August and we've gotten half of our clutches for the year. Just crazy.
Which just we're not supposed to be talking about ball pythons, but you're expected to have what 16 clutches this year?
That's what we around 16, maybe 1 or 2 more. Yeah,
that is amazing. That is almost double what you had last year, correct?
Oh,
yeah. Last year was 9.
Yeah, that's amazing. Congrats, guys. Congrats. I'm trying to get that kind of production around here. Come on, girls. Get on top of it. Jesus, ladies. I'm trying to get there. I might add 2 more clutches, so I'll break my record of 4 clutches. So I'll hit maybe 6 clutches this season.
Nice.
So that's an improvement, but yeah, I'm trying to get to double digits. That's the plan.
I'm hoping in 2 years we double again. So like for let's say 16 this year, 30 2 years from now. I think it's
okay. Okay. All right. Well, let's get into some of these questions. Since you guys are on before, we have new questions for you guys. So, first question: what other reptiles do you have?
You gonna let me answer that? Or you want to?
Holly, it's all you.
You look like a deer in headlights.
She did.
It's like
that's not good. I hit many deer with my car, so that's not a good look. So anyway, well, I guess active breeding. We do crested geckos as well, as you mentioned. We have the GTP that we are still growing up, learning. We found out he was a male. Based on his shed, so it's always a bummer when it comes to some of those that you spend the money on, and you're like, come on, female, like, and you roll the dice and see guys and all that. But he's still coming up, so hopefully we'll get into that sooner rather than later. But we also don't have any females, so that's not going to happen soon.
Yeah.
And then we got a blood python one. How many years ago? Like 2 or 3?
2.
And dude, that's a big boy. That is a big boy, and very fast with the food. And like, I'm afraid my arm's gonna fall off. Like if he were to miss the rat, I'm afraid. Yeah, but
I've been babysitting 2 blood pythons for a friend of mine. And I was
wondering why they were in your feeding video.
Yeah, so
and I'm like, when did he get those and not tell anybody?
I wasn't gonna put them in the videos, but my friend was like, "Hey, it was only supposed to be for a month, and then something else happened with his job where he had to go for like 4 months." And he was like, "Hey, can you watch him for 4 months?" I was like, "No, I can't watch him for. Yeah, I can watch him, no problem, whatever. Just give me money for food, and we're fine." So I'm like halfway through the month, I was like, dude, I got to start showing people these guys eating because they're terrifying me when I'm feeding them. So I was like, hey.
They're so much faster than a ball python. So much faster of a strike speed. It's ridiculous.
And they're so strong when they hit too. And they don't just grab it. They put their whole body into it. And I'm like, you do realize you're going to fall out the tub. You can't do that.
You know what the greatest thing, though, about the bloods is? You're going to have them for 4 months, and they might not even go to the bathroom while you have them for the 4 months.
Oh, yeah, that's not what's happening here. They've already pooped multiple times.
Really? That's unusual for bloods.
So for these guys, they were a little underweight. So I hadn't been feeding them like you normally would feed a blood. I've been giving them 2 weeks on and 2 weeks off. Just because I wanted to put a little more weight on them because I didn't like – I know they're not supposed to be obese, but they're supposed to be girthy. And they weren't really as girthy as I thought they should be. So I went 2 weeks on and 2 weeks off. These guys poop and been shedding like crazy, and I know they have a slower metabolism. So I'm like, what's going on? But I'm starting to pull them back a little more because I see them getting a little more healthier in their weight, and I'm totally fine with them now at that weight. So yeah, and I've known he's had these guys since they were babies. One of them had to have surgery because it had a prolapse, and it had surgery to get it fixed. And I know he really cares about these snakes, so I wanted to make sure they're in better health than I got them when I give them back to him. And he's a really good friend, and I know he's been kind of busy and going through stuff, so he might not have been able to give the proper care at that moment. So I wanted to make sure they're in the best health when he does get them back.
That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah. And they're really cool, and I like holding them.
They are really cool. All right,
blood pythons. Yeah.
So we have a leopard gecko right now. He was a rescue.
Okay.
We got that, and then we have poison dart frogs as well. Dendrobates tinctorius.
Oh wow! I didn't know you guys had dart frogs. What color are they?
Blue and yellow.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. They're cobalt Dendrobates tinctorius. We've had them for a decade.
Almost a decade, yeah.
10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, long time. Just 3 of them. So we got those. And that's all we have right now.
We debated breeding them at one point just because we saw what looked like viable eggs, but at the same time, by viable I mean like healthy looking infertile eggs, because it's not set up to have the water system for them to actually lay eggs in and properly grow.
Dish.
And so we bought petri dishes, we bought all kinds of stuff to possibly do it, and then we were like, that's a lot more research that we'd want to do, just because we don't do anything with amphibians. So
that's a whole nother world.
Oh yeah.
Wow, interesting. Do you guys have videos on them?
I don't think we've done a video on them.
We do. We have like one.
We did a vivarium video.
One or two. I think we have 1 or 2 videos on them.
Oh, I must have missed this video. I gotta go watch
the
this video.
vivarium was like a year plus ago.
Yeah, I think we have 1 or 2 videos. It's not many though. It's not.
I'm not just convinced.
I know people love the frogs. I want to give my son a Pac-Man frog, so I don't have to have fish, because I hate cleaning the fishing tanks. And I think he would do good with a Pac-Man frog.
As for a pet, I absolutely love them. They're so easy to take care of. I mean, because they're in a naturalistic vivarium, I feed them every 2 days with some fruit flies dusted with various powders, depending on what day of the week it is. Yeah, that's it. That's all I do. Refill their auto misting system.
Yeah, I got hot. We're in the snake room. I usually have like a cloth to wipe off, and I was like, oh my god, I forgot the cloth, but I'm sweating, and I didn't want to sweat on camera. It looks so bad. Patrick, what's up? Thanks for coming through. What's up? Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I think you guys should do more videos on these frogs. At least 2 more videos, because I'm really waiting for an update on GTP. I seen the video where you made his new cage, and I can't. You guys painted it and put him in it. Did you put him in it? Did you guys have to let it air out, or you aired it out for like 3 weeks? That's what it was.
Yeah, it was a long time.
Yeah, it was the type of paint we bought. We realized it. Excuse me, it just smelled like paint for so long, even sitting outside,
But it's good now. He's in it. He's been in it for a month or 2, maybe.
At least,
yeah. He's adjusted well to it.
Okay, that's good. Okay. Well, that's interesting. You thinking about breeding the green cheek pythons once you guys get a female? So you think you'll just buy some adult females down the road, or will you just go babies and raise them up and hopefully they're female?
That's tough.
I know.
Like, female GTPs are real expensive.
Well, let me just also let me actually interject here. So you've been talking to Garrick DeMeyer every time we would see him at a show, and because he breeds. Or he had bred them. I don't know if does he still actually breed them?
Yep, as far as I know, he does. So, he's like the most quiet, unknown GTP breeder out there. He has this like closed collection of GTPs that he breeds that hardly anybody knows he has.
And you're like, hey man, you ready to sell one of them?
Like
and he's like, nah.
Every Tinley, I'm like, hey man, you want to sell me a female? And he's like, no.
But he lit the fire, because the first time you asked about it, he was like, yeah, maybe one day if I do, I'll sell you one. And then now Daryl asks all the time. So
I would say I'd love to buy a female, but man, they're expensive. They're real expensive. And I almost would want to take my chances on neonates, but there's so much concern over nidovirus with GTPs. Yeah, you really have to be careful where you get them from, and you want to try to get them from a collection from somebody who's done the nido testing, which means 3 tests for every animal. Like, it's a lot of work for somebody to test their whole collection. So I don't know when we're going to get our next GTP. We will get more, but it's a matter of where we go and when we do it. I just don't know.
We're picky, I think, in the sense, and I don't mean picky in like a bad way. I just think we want them to be domestic bred.
Yes.
Versus,
I'm not doing captive bred or like captive bred, but overseas, which is pretty common, and that's where you get like, okay, you can get a captive bred, but it's not captive bred US for like $300. But Have they actually got it eating? It just traveled across the world.
Exactly.
Like, what's the chance of survival? Did it have any NIDO testing? The answer is probably no. Versus getting something like U.S. captive bred from a reputable GTP breeder is going to cost you $1,000 for a baby. You might find something a little cheaper, but $1,000 is pretty average.
Yeah, I've been out of the GTP game for a while, and I remember when I got mine, I think mine was like $400. I got it from a reptile store. Very good reptile store, so I know it was a good animal, healthy and everything. And then I was thinking about breeding them, but I was like, the whole getting a baby and hope it's the sex you want, that really deterred me a little bit. And then I started looking at adult prices, and I was like, oh, that's just not feasible for me right now. So I put that on the back burner.
I've seen some females sell for like $8,000 to $12,000, and it's like for an adult. It's like that's a lot of money to drop for what is unfortunately a rather, I won't say it's a hard species to keep, but a hard species to breed.
Yeah. And once you got their cage dialed down, you're good. But breeding them, that's a whole nother monster.
Yeah, I'm on a lot of the like GTP Facebook groups, and it's amazing how difficult it seems to breed them. Now, we have no experience. I'm only going off of what we've seen, but they seem very difficult to breed. And I'd say the females also seem to be very prone to having issues with breeding as well. So you buy like an $8,000 or $12,000 female, and then something happens to her your first breeding season, that would be crushing.
Yeah, that is a setback, and it sets you back as a keeper as well, because now you're like, what did I do wrong? So now you're going over your head every little thing you did, trying to figure out what you could have did differently, if this would have stopped her from not making it. And that could wreck you just in your own head, especially you, Daryl. You're a perfectionist, so I know you'll be like every you've already documented everything you did. Now you're going over those documents like, I did this. This is what I was told. This is how it's supposed to be done. So clearly that should be right. That's probably why you don't see as many of them. Because I know like maybe 7 years ago, they were a lot more prevalent in the community. You had a lot more people selling them, dealing with them. And I've seen that kind of drop off in the last like 5 years or so. So that's kind of interesting to see. And what about the bloods? Is that going to be just a pet, or would that be something you guys might look into breeding?
So we actually been talking about getting a female blood to go with our male, because the enclosure we have him in now has 2 spots. So there's no reason we couldn't get a female and just keep them there together. Now, female have to grow up, of course. But even if we get one now, that's still 3 years away probably till we'd have our first bloods. So
makes sense. Main Screen Reptiles, what's up? Thanks for coming through. Britt, what's up? That's my friend for work. He says he's gonna comment on every video and he's gonna put a snake in there, and I appreciate it. Thanks for coming through.
Succeeded so far. I see this one.
He did. Yeah, they do have wicked teeth, but they are beautiful. Yeah. But I know emerald tree boas have even bigger teeth, but I really wanted to breed them. Like, I wanted to breed the green tree pythons, but the emerald tree boas, like, I really wanted to do them. But then I start looking into them, and they're even more difficult. But they're so beautiful. They're so beautiful.
Are you planning on adding anything there other than ball pythons for breeding?
As of right now, the plan is to get the ball pythons to eventually pay for themselves. And once that happens, I'll use some of that money to buy another emerald tree boa as a pet for the moment, and then maybe down the road see if I can breed her. So I most likely will get a female, and down the road see if I can breed her. But I kind of want to just focus on the ball pythons. For one, I don't have a lot of space, and for two, my wife is like, "Hey, you have a threshold of snakes I'm gonna let you have. So I'm like, I gotta be picky then. So that's the plan. I mean, once they start paying for stuff and like, hey, I can go buy you a nice little laptop, that might change. But until then, I'm at a certain maximum I can get. So I gotta be very strategic about that. So
that makes sense. Makes sense.
That's why that's the only reason the red-tailed boa, she's still here, because she's a pet. And my wife is like, you can't get rid of her because she's really cool and big. So I'm like, cool, enough said. She doesn't count into my number of snakes I can have.
I like red-tailed boas too. So
I will say that is a game changer when they go from costing you money to paying for themselves. That makes a big difference.
Yes, definitely does. And I'm hopefully getting to the point where that is going to become a reality instead of just a dream. So that is the challenge I'm trying to do right now. And it's a challenge because you kind of have to upscale in a certain way to where you don't get too big to where you can't feed everything, because they still need to eat. And if money's not coming in, that money's got to come from somewhere to feed them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But you have to be able to make enough babies to sell to be able to fund the adults you have to keep them going. And that is a balancing act, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
It is, especially starting out.
Yep. Because starting out, you were like, oh, I want that. I want that. I want that. Oh, I wish I'd have done stuff differently when I first started. So much wish I'd have done stuff differently.
Yeah, we thought that many times too. Like there's certain things that we were like, these are the things we want to produce. This is what we're going to buy. This is what we're going to do. And we would collect so much of that.
Yeah.
And now we're overrun with that. So, I mean, we've sold some of those things the past couple of years that we were like, we just have way too many albinos and way too many this, because you only need so many, you know what I mean,
True.
to produce. I mean, you only need
True.
one female is only going to produce one clutch a year. You don't need like 13 males, because what,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, so it's stuff
Yeah.
you learn, you know, but
Yep. That's what happened with me. I bought a lot of males in the beginning, and because they were pretty, and I was like, this looks cool. Before I got into the fact that I was going to breed, I was like, this is pretty, I'm gonna get this, and this is pretty, I'm gonna get this. And then I was like, oh, I did this totally wrong, and now I have to restructure. And that restructure is difficult, but I think I honestly almost sold everything at one point in time. I had like 5 snakes that I was going to just keep, and then one snake laid a clutch, and I was like, I'm back in. Yeah. And that's how it happens.
I think we're kind of in that like continual restructure mode where it's like every year we're reevaluating, like, is our collection where we want it to be? What doesn't fit anymore to where we want to go? And what's costing us money and not making any money?
Yeah. See, I'm trying to get business savvy like that. Trying to look at it more of a business angle than I just want to make pretty stuff. That's nice. It's cool to want to make pretty stuff and work with the stuff you like, but you still have to have some business sense about it as well. There's a balance there.
well, yeah, like clutch number 2 this year was our Mystic Potion to our lesser, and we were really hoping for good odds on the bells. And we got 3 and
out of 10,
out of 11. And the rest are, you know, Mystics and Mojaves. And I mean, those aren't going to bring in certain prices like others. So, you know, now it's like, all right, bro, you got to go. I'm going to feed you more money than you're going to make me. And
Exactly.
so, you know, they're still pretty, but you know, that's the ratio you got to figure out. If you average, which it's not, but if you average like $1 a week per rat, how long can you keep it before it's too much? Which it's clearly not $1 a rat, but
yeah,
but
rat prices going up so fast.
like $2.
Wow.
Yeah, rat prices have gotten crazy.
I'm glad I have a rat guy that I work with, and I build racks for him, and I get a decent price on my rats, and we're good friends, and we're helping each other in this hobby. That definitely helps. But yeah, it's some people get to that point where they have no choice but to breed their own rats, And that's a whole nother job in itself.
I don't even know how people do that. I know we did a video on why we don't do it, but I don't know how you could, because we decided for crickets to breed our own crickets because just buying 1,000 at a time was getting to be too much for the geckos, and we don't feed them crickets every day. And that was a whole other, hot mess in itself. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's pretty successful, I think.
It is.
We're gonna make a video.
It's a lot of work.
But it's a lot of work and a space to take up, and rats are way
and it's
more.
only crickets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you guys had to do rats and crickets. That would be just, you have no time. No time.
There's no way.
No.
There's no way. We've talked about, like, the only way we would ever start breeding rats ourselves is if it got to the point that our rat cost was so much that we could hire somebody part-time to take care of rats, and it still be financially make sense for us to breed our own rats.
So
let's say,
and that's for us, because I mean, like, the guy that we buy our rats from, I mean, bless him, because he's a hard worker too, so it takes a lot.
Yeah, but if we ever got to the point where, let's say, we're spending $20,000 a year on rats, maybe it makes sense for us to hire somebody part-time for, let's say, $12,000 to $15,000 a year, and then we end up breaking even on the rats or produce some extra rats that we could sell, and then maybe we make a little money there. But short of that, I just can't imagine all the extra work of breeding rats for even our collection our size, and our collection isn't that big, but it still would be a lot of work.
Yeah. Chris Hardwick, thanks for coming through. Appreciate it. Sick-witted ball pythons, what's up? Thanks for coming through. Trying to get to some of these comments because I am terrible at it. Yeah, it's a bit tricky. I get so into something and I'm like, oh, I got to do the comments, especially when you end up with 20 to 30 holdbacks. Yes, it gets pricey real fast. Yes, that is my rat guy. Ron, love you guys. Deb, love you guys. Actually getting rats real soon because I got to feed these babies. I'm working on bells next season, hopefully. Signals going out and in and out, so hopefully I'm still here half the time. I was going to get a wire to hook right up to my modem so I get better signal, so I'm not working off the Wi-Fi, but I haven't got that wire yet. Process. Things happen at that process. But let's go ahead and go to the next question. We like to talk, so we'll be here all day.
Oh yeah.
So we got to try to I forget like we have questions to ask, but then we get so into the conversation, we'll be talking about stuff, and then I forget about the questions.
It's okay.
It happens every time. So what was something you added to your YouTube channel after you started?
Oh, added to our YouTube channel. Well, a simple thing, an end card, because I didn't have end cards when we first started. So that was a big change for us. Just put an end card on there.
It's a little less.
But I would say our biggest change is probably how we do our clutch videos. So we used to, every time we get like a clutch of eggs, we'd record it and be like, hey, look, we've got a clutch of eggs. Or like, hey, here's this cutting video and here's, the cleanup. And it was all kind of separate and all over the place in our videos. So we started putting a clutch as one singular video. So when we have a clutch video, you see pulling the eggs, you see cutting the eggs, you see the post shed all in one video. And I'd say that's a big deal and a big change for us for a couple reasons. One, we get tons of compliments on the format that people are like, man, I wish other people would do clutch videos like this so you can see the entire clutch in one video. But also, because we sell exclusively online in Morph Market with some local sales, but even local sales are typically through Morph Market or our Facebook page. We don't do like reptile shows per se. When we do Morph Market, you can now put a YouTube video with an animal. So now every time we put an animal up for sale, we put the YouTube video for the clutch from that animal so the person can actually see the clutch the animal's in, that it was born. And I think especially for like hets, it makes people trust our hets more because they get to see the whole video of that clutch and know that when we have a het, that it is really a het of whatever we say it is. And especially when we're selling a lot of like het desert ghost stuff, which is, a little more expensive, people want to trust that what they're getting actually is het desert ghost, or, especially the more expensive hets.
Yeah.
I would think
that
for us, for us, the change that I think really helped was just our equipment too. We ended up getting the Rebel Cannon, it is that, but it was it was like the YouTube creator kit. We got the creator kit.
Okay.
We're not doing videos out here like PewDiePie or anything. We were just, we're just doing videos, but that plus lighting. Our lighting has done a huge thing.
Huge deal.
Being mindful of the sound around us, as far as like our humidifiers blasting off, or the units going off and stuff like that. We try to turn those off.
But we still do videos with the beeping in the background every time we have a clutch.
It's because it's the Apex going off. Not the Apex, the Herpstat going off. That we open the incubator, we make it sensitive enough that for the eggs that we're like, you opened the door, that's allowed.
Plus breeding crickets now and having reptiles that eat crickets. Every video has crickets in the background. Every one.
Oh, yeah.
Which honestly, I didn't even notice the crickets until you pointed it out, and then I couldn't unhear it. I didn't notice it at all.
So we doomed
I was like, what crickets are these? Oh, there they are. I hear them now. Yep. Didn't hear it at first.
Every video. They're in the background. Look, every video now. It's impossible not to hear the crickets.
Oh, wow. So just to backtrack a little bit, the end card, if you don't know what that is, it is the last 20 seconds of your video, and you can put up a link to another video, or you can put a link to your channel to be able to subscribe to it. It is another kind of promotional thing for your channel, and it try to keeps people on your channel. Ultimately, YouTube uses to keep you on YouTube, but yeah, it does help your channel because people do click it sometimes. Yeah. So if you're not doing it, you might want to look into it. I would say Google in-card templates, and you'll find a whole bunch of templates as a way to do it. And you can customize it as much as you want and make it for you, so people know that's your in-card and stuff like that. Just a little tip. I'm trying to do more tips for YouTube on these, because some people want to know what's going on, how to get subscribers. That's another thing I forgot to talk about this. So after I think 5 episodes, after I get past 5 episodes of Under 1,000 Pod, I'm going to start doing it to where I have someone under 1,000 subscribers, and then the next episode will be somebody above 1,000 subscribers. And then we're going to talk to them about how they got above 1,000, so you guys can learn some of that and use some of their tactics or tips down the road. I thought that would be cooler for people to see. You guys let me know once I do it if you like it. If not, we can adjust, but I think I'm gonna try that. Oh my God, there's so many gnats.
The gnats.
There's gnats and flies in snake rooms. No matter how much you clean them, they still pop up. So that doesn't mean you're dirty. It just means you're breeding snakes. And it's one of the things you have to deal with, especially if you're breeding rats too. You definitely have to deal with that.
While talking about end cards, I would say my one tip for end cards is add something with motion, because it keeps people attentive to the fact that you went to an end card. Don't have it be a static image. Like if you see our end card, there's things moving in it.
Yep. That is a good tip. You can start out with static, but then once you get a little more skilled, do some movement. We're all visual. As much people like, I don't need to see stuff. You need to see it. People want to see it. 403 fauna, that's the way to go. I do like that style you guys do, and I was planning on doing that with one clutch that I thought was going to go, but that girl didn't go. So I was going to test that out with one of my clutches. Have the whole clutch, film it, cut eggs, and then show what came out the eggs all in one video. I was going to do that, but she didn't go, so you guys got to wait till next year for that to happen.
Yeah.
Hopefully. But I do like that style. I'm not. It does keep everything in one video, and it makes it so much easier to go back and be like, well, I know this is the clutch that came from because you saw the whole process.
Yep, and you can point people to it, which is super nice. For customers, it's super nice.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that aspect. I didn't even think, because I've been pointing people to, I've been doing it to where I put that whole clutch into a playlist, and I'll send that playlist to that person. So it's like 5 videos you watch, and I was like, maybe people don't like that.
More that business mindset of like, how do I make it easy for a customer to know that their animal, they can trust what their animal is.
True.
Yep.
True. But then it takes away from live cuttings, and I like those too. Oh,
I think live cuttings are cool.
So what you could do is you could still record your live cutting, but then put that in the clutch video, right? So you still do the live, but then take that live video segment and put it into your clutch video.
Oh, okay. Yeah. 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 That could be an ass. Oh, yeah. That might be. Oh, yeah. Okay. There you get. I'm just sorry. My gears are turning.
Remember, brains of the operation, brawn of the operation.
Exactly. I love it. I love it. Oh, wow. You got give me ideas over here.
Sometimes. Not when you say I have the smarts, though. That's
you did help the situation right there. I was about to back you up, and I was like, I can't. She said, I have the smarts. Oh, man. It's going to be a hard one to pull off on that one. I was just going to be quiet. It was like, oh, we're going to let that move fast.
The other day we were watching Star Trek, and I was complaining about.
Oh my gosh!
I was complaining. Picard was leaving the ship, and I'm like, "What? He's going on a long vacation. Look at all that luggage. That is not." And I went on like a rant.
You went on a 5-minute rant about why Picard didn't take enough luggage, and then all of a sudden
he goes, "Did you forget replicators?"
Yeah. What about replicators? He could just get there and make whatever he wants. He doesn't need to take 18 bags of luggage. After a 5-minute rant of like, but he doesn't have enough stuff.
And I'm like, thanks. I went on a day trip last weekend, and I took like wipes and cotton balls and everything. You don't know what you need. Sunscreen. Like,
you don't need any of that if you got a replicator. You just make it when you get there.
It's true. That's the benefit he has. We don't have that yet. Hopefully,
you guys don't have a replicator yet.
Not yet. Maybe
man,
20 years.
You're living in the past, man. You gotta get one of those.
Yeah,
super.
I'm trying to. I hear they're really good to have.
Yeah,
they make things so much easier.
We're going on vacation.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Oh, see, this is why I like having you guys on. We're having way too much fun. Oh goodness.
Never too much.
See, this is what's gonna happen when we finally get to meet at a reptile show.
We're not going to look at any reptiles all day.
Unfortunately, I might not make it to Tinley this year. Unfortunately, we might have some family things come up. We're still seeing. I'm hoping I can make it to one of the days. You're not going to make it this year either? Okay.
Not in October.
Now I don't feel so bad. Okay.
No, we actually were supposed to, right before COVID, we were in Jamaica. We didn't think all this stuff that was going on was like actually going on because we were in a resort.
Beautiful Caribbean. It was wonderful.
And so we were like, my mom's texting me like, "Are you careful down there?" And I'm like, "What? Yeah, I'm on a beach with a drink. I'm great. Like, what are you doing?" But we come back and like everything was happening because it was literally like March 8th we came back. So it was like crazy. Yeah. And then anyway, so when we came back, we actually rebooked the trip thinking, oh, this is, this will blow over in a year. So we booked the trip for March 2021 and we didn't go because clearly.
They canceled it again.
And the resort credit, because we already paid for everything, we have up to a year to use. So we were like, okay, we'll go over Thanksgiving. But now it's like, we're vaccinated
what does
or
this
whatever.
have to do with October Tinley?
That's what.
I'm not sure where this story is going.
I told you I had to tell you all the details, but apparently the reason is so we're not going even to our trip in November probably.
Oh, okay, we're getting there.
Why would we go to Chicago?
Yeah,
You know what? Let's just rewind 5 minutes because
there's no rewinding. It's live. You can't.
I understand where you were going with it, and I totally understand. You were laying the groundwork with this expensive trip that we've already paid for. We're not going to that, so we're not going to go to the simple trip we can go to.
You say laying the groundwork. She like dug the foundation, poured the concrete, laid the rebar. I was we weren't getting to the house for another month or two at least.
That's just how I talk, man. I gotta tell you everything.
She's painting
my
a
life,
picture,
and then you can understand me.
She's painting a picture. Yes,
we weren't even close to painting. Come on, we were way far away from painting that house.
Oh wow!
I apologize. Wasted time.
We're 45 minutes into this, and we've gotten through 2 questions.
We have gotten through 2 questions.
My 3-minute offshoot had nothing did not mess with her.
So technically, this question we've already somewhat answered. So we'll do a quick recap. So let us know which ones we're considering breeding.
Blood pythons, GTPs, and there's an off chance of some poison dart frogs.
Okay. So that
probably
is
blood before the other 2, though, I would think.
I would say getting the blood to breed would be first, but we could start breeding dart frogs whenever.
Oh yeah, the dart frogs, that's fine. But I mean more like
the GTPs definitely is further out. I mean, even when we finally get some females, they have to be 4 years old before you breed them.
Yeah.
So, it's a long way away. A long way away.
Yeah. It's a very long process.
Yeah.
Very long process. Unless Garrett sells you some, then that process will speed up.
I'm not going to be a Tinley to bug him, but early spring Tinley, I'll be like, hey, where's my female GTP again?
Yeah, that's definitely the way to go. Let's go to the next question. What is your goal with your YouTube? I didn't put your YouTube in there, but you guys get it.
I got it. So for me, I'll let you answer afterwards. So for me, my goal is twofold. One, to share information, because we put out a lot of DIY videos in our stuff, which really helps us for like when we have customers, they're like, hey, how do I do this thing? Or we put out, like, here's what food we feed for our geckos. We did that video mainly because we get the question, what do you feed your geckos, from so many people? And now we get a customer, we just be like, here's a whole video on it, right? How do you keep your baby geckos? We did a whole video on how you build a cheap baby gecko enclosure so that we can just point people and be like, hey, here's how to build a cheap enclosure if this is your first gecko and you want something on the cheap. So I'd say that's a big portion of why we do it. Is it actually saves us work, right? Because we're doing videos to teach customers things they're going to ask us, so we can point them to the video and be like, hey, here's a really good explanation on how to do that thing. So that's one aspect of it. And we just like sharing information. I like teaching naturally. So like that's part of my job, I'll call it, is teaching other people how to do the things that I do. And I enjoy that aspect of it. So it's something I like doing anyway. And then I'd say the second part for me is having what we talked about with the hets, having legitimacy behind somebody buys an animal from us and they can trust that what they are buying is what they're getting, especially when you're talking about het genetics. Having the YouTube channel allows us to have a more professional front to the business, right? It allows people to see us ahead of time. It allows us to show those clutch videos when we get them, and we use it as marketing too. Like we do the for sale videos. You've seen those.
Exactly.
Everything we sell for sale goes on YouTube first, and we offer a discount if you buy it in that first week it comes out in a YouTube video. So it gives us just another form of marketing as well. So there's a lot of things I think YouTube does for me, for us, for Exquisite Exotics. Holly?
I feel like you did a really good job at covering a lot of the things, even some things I didn't even think about. Even though you mentioned the hets already earlier. For me, I like the idea of having, like you said, information out there. I think that the first thing that I do a lot of times when I'm trying to figure out how to reset something in my car, or, build something for the house, or a new recipe or something. Like sometimes I'll YouTube it. So like if somebody's like, how do I do this with my reptile, or the one we did with the ball pythons not eating, and we did the Da Vinci thing, or or even especially with our super mystic, that she was really sick, and this weird experiment that we did on her. Just those kind of videos, I think, that education wise, or sharing information, because I feel like maybe not so much in the reptile community, or at least not now. Maybe it used to be. There's a lot of like hidden things. Nobody wants to share information. Yeah. And to me, at least, this isn't a competition, and we should all come together as a community and help each other. And the best way to do that is to have the information available. And Daryl preaches all the time, like, don't just listen to me. Get your information from multiple sources and make your own decision on what's best for you. And I agree with that. So I think that's, for me, is getting just information out there.
And I think people want that information. If you look at the YouTube analytics for our videos, the DIY videos by far do better than any other video we have out there. Mm-hmm. Like our best video is one of the very first videos we did, which is terrible, by the way. The quality's awful of it because it's one of the first videos we did, on how to build an incubator for your eggs out of a fridge. It's our best video.
And the process still works, but yeah, the footage is.
But the footage is awful, and they're like, it's a terribly done video, but it's our best video because it's something everybody wants to be able to do. Everybody needs a way to incubate their eggs, and it's great if you have the extra funds that you want to go out and spend $1,000 on an incubator. But if you have a broken fridge, which a lot of people can either have a broken fridge or can find a broken fridge on Craigslist, cheap for free. You can build yourself an incubator and save yourself a ton of money. And that money you save, the quality of incubator you can build is still a good quality incubator. And the money you save is all money you can put towards purchasing better animals or more animals, right? Mm-hmm. If you're starting out, that's important.
Yeah, so. That is definitely important. Animals is the key. You got to have good equipment, but you don't have to break the bank to get that good equipment. You want to have quality animals. You'll go a lot farther with quality animals and DIY equipment than you would with great equipment and just low-balled animals. God darn it, this phone.
Yeah. And listen, there's there are some advantages to good quality equipment. I mean, we started with I love your rack system that you build that's so interchangeable with the tubs. I love that. Yeah. And we started out, we didn't DIY our first racks, but we started out with Sea Serpents racks, which are cheaper, and they were nice. And we've moved to Freedom Breeders now for most of our ball python stuff. And I will say there is a quality difference between DIY, low-end purchase, and high-end purchase. Those Sea Serpents or those Freedom Breeder racks are phenomenal. But they're expensive. They're really, really, really expensive.
Really expensive.
And they all do the same job.
And they all do the same job. As long as you build them well, they all do the exact same thing.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I'm in the process of debating if I'm going to go all ARS or if I'm just going to go ARS for my adult females and do these DIYs for my hatchlings and my holdbacks and males. Because I can keep a male in this because I don't tend to have my males get too big. So I can keep him in a 23-quart tub just fine. He'll be healthy. He'll eat great. He'll do his job. And he'll be fine in that. But females need a little more room because they usually get bigger. And once you go DIY with those kind of longer tubs, you eat up the space in your room a lot quicker. ARSs, they are big, but they're still compact to an extent, and you can fit a lot more tubs in them. But when it comes to their hatchling racks, the DIY rack can hold more than ARS would, and the price is just mind-blowingly different for what I would need. So I'm debating that. But then I'm also thinking about resale value, because that's something you have to think about.
That's actually what I was going to ask you. Is there a reason you're thinking ARS versus Freedom Breeder?
I just like the style of ARS, the way they look. I like. They pretty much function the same to a decent. There might be a little things here and there. I just like the way ARS feel more, and I do wish they wouldn't have those ridges on their cup holders in their tubs. That's like the only thing I really dislike about ARS. I like Freedom Breeder's round, so you're not cutting yourself when you're trying to scrub it. But that is like one of the only things I dislike about ARS that I like Freedom Breeder does better. But overall, I just like the look of ARS's over Freedom Breeder. That's really the thing that just tips it over for me. And I think ARS is cheaper for me to get where I am in the country than it is for me to get from Freedom Breeder.
So we're of course on East Coast. So Freedom Breeder is super expensive for us to get here in Maryland, and they're in California, right? So that's a heck of a shipment cost. But we still have Freedom Breeder. So I'll throw on I spent my career as a designer hat for a moment. The reason Freedom Breeder I like them better is a couple things. One, the assembly process is better when you're trying to put the rack together. Two, I think that from what I've seen, the resale value on a Freedom Breeder rack tends to be a little higher than an ARS rack. Okay. And I've seen ARS racks for sale. They use a powder coating process, and we use a powder coating process where I work as well. And given a long enough time frame, powder coating is great, but you will eventually get rust on metal.
Okay.
Especially exposed edges that aren't really well powder coated, or where you scratch the powder coating. And I've seen some old ARS racks for sale, and they have some I won't call it substantial rust, but some rust on them that I wouldn't want to buy that rack. Mm-hmm. You don't see that with Freedom Breeder because they're built from stainless steel. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if they still do, but Freedom Breeder was using 304 stainless steel on their construction, which is a really good grade of stainless steel as well. So I would lean towards Freedom Breeder if you can afford the difference for those reasons.
Okay.
Yeah, I've thrown my Freedom Breeder. By the way, I don't get paid by Freedom Breeder. I still pay full price for them, but
they haven't put me on as a sponsor yet.
Not yet. I'm waiting someday, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, once I get to Snakes, the plan is to get the Snakes to pay for those racks, whichever way I do go. So once I get the Snakes at the point where they're doing that, that's when I'm going to have to make that real hard decision on which way to go. And that's going to be interesting if I'm going to go for looks over different functionality, because they all do the same. They're just subtle things that are subtly different for each brand visually. And like, I do like Freedom Breeders, the table thing they have. I do really like that concept where they have that pull-out table. I do like that.
So useful. We buy that on every rack now that we get from them. It's so nice. So nice.
And that would cut down me needing to have a table in here per se. So that's a positive. So I am leaving those options.
It is really nice to have those pull-out shelves to work on. We would never buy a rack from them again without having them.
Especially if you're vertically challenged.
Yes, if you're short like us, both of us. It's nice to have.
Yeah. So yeah, Main Squeeze has one a Freedom Breeder rack that he got from Garrick DeMeyer. He says he's going to go Sea Serpents until the Snakes pay for the upgrade, which, yeah.
They're fantastic. So in our latest video for what we bought and added, we added Sea Serpents racks and Freedom Breeder racks. And to your point, Gershon, this is the first time that our animals have paid for those racks, which is a really nice feeling. Yeah.
Nice. Gray's Reptiles, what's up? Thanks for coming through. Nope, you didn't miss it. You made it just on time. Flexing Pythons, what's up? Thanks for coming through. Yeah, I love Gray's room. He has all the ARS. It just looks so good.
Listen, Gray's room does look good. I will give you that. It does look good. Plus the logo paint on the back wall. We need to get a logo paint on our wall somewhere.
I do want to do that too. I want to have my logo painted somewhere in the room, but I know I'm not going to be in this house forever. We're trying to move or planning to move. So I'm like, I can wait until we go into a house I'm pretty sure we're going to stay a lot longer in. Yeah, Flexing Python said he loves sea serpents. Definitely. You're welcome, Gray. Where am I? I lost myself in my mind. Sorry, guys. Go to the next question. I totally lost myself. Like, what am I doing? So, what is your dream reptile to have?
Water monitor.
Water monitor. Oh,
Yeah.
I did not expect that. Oh, wow.
Yeah. For a long time, it was the sulcata, and I was like, damn, I'm going to die before that thing. Like, I need to, before that thing does. But I just, every time we go to a show, like, I'm just drawn to the peach neck ones. I'm just, yeah, they're just gorgeous.
They are pretty. They are pretty.
And I think I would look pretty cool with one on a leash walking around.
Yeah, they get big though.
They do.
They get so big. They pretty much need a room. They get that big. Oh wow.
Yeah, but I mean, you heard her second one. It was the sulcata tortoise. It's not like that's very small either. That's taken all over itself too.
True.
That would be cool.
But you don't think of them being like them moving around that much. Like the turtle, you like, yeah, you need a room, but we can still have other stuff in that room because you're not going to be just climbing over everything. That water, yeah, they need that room, and that's specifically their room.
It's like the tegus, man. Those things are huge. I've seen people walking around with them at shows, and they're like massive puppies.
Yeah.
I mean, in general, they act like massive puppies, but they're just big. So.
Yeah, I used to have a really big iguana that I got. She was a full adult, and she had half her tail was cut off, but she was also kind of a dick to men. The lady I got her from would blow weed in her face, and it made her very mean to all men for some reason. So I was the only man. I know, I can understand. I was the only man she was okay with. So when the lady was like, I can't have the iguana anymore, do you want her? And I was like, yeah, I'll take her. Her name was Star. So I took her. I had her for about 5 more years before she passed away. Love that iguana to death. Oh, really cool. Nice. She used to just chill. She used to just sit there and watch TV with me. So that was really cool. Might get a lizard again. See, you guys are getting me into thinking of more reptiles to get. I don't have that space. I have been limited to a certain amount of animals. I honestly wanted an anaconda at one point in time, and I was really, really working out how I can get an anaconda, even though I have 2 small children. I should not have a snake that big, but I was really trying to work it out.
That's a big
so
snake.
Big. So big. Gray can't wait for you guys hit Desert Ghost stuff. I can't either because I got a Desert Ghost mail, but I think I'm supposed to make up stuff first.
Jumped up on the DG project. I saw that.
I did. I meant to get into it like a year and a half ago, but then I was like, nah, I'll wait. And then that really hurt me because I could have got like females at that time. Visual females at that time, and it wouldn't have cost me an arm and a leg. Now it's going to cost me 2 bodies to find an actual visual female that people are letting go at this point.
I know. We kept all of ours back last year. We didn't sell a single of the visual females we produced.
It makes perfect sense. I would do the same thing. I understand. A black dragon. Oh, Jesus. Those look cool, too. Those look cool. I don't know. I gotta stop thinking about these cool snakes and reptiles that I might want in my collection that are not ball pythons.
My answer is so much simpler.
Can you make everything a pet if that's like the loophole you can go through?
I don't think that's a loophole. I think it's just for her. I don't think that's a loophole for everybody else. It's just for her name is Toph. So I named her. Like my first set of reptiles, I named them all after the Avatar show. So I had Zuko, I had Jin, I had Toph, I had what was that one girl? I had Aang, and I had Katara. Those are my first like 5 reptiles. They all were Last Airbender avatar because I was obsessed with the show at the time. But yeah, she's only a pet, and that only applies to her. No one else can come here as a pet. Apparently, that's the way it's working now. Oh wow. So Daryl, what is your dream reptile?
I just want a panther chameleon. I've wanted a panther chameleon for like a decade, and I still don't have one, and I don't know why.
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen one of those.
A panther chameleon. Oh, they're gorgeous. They're like I want a male because the females are like kind of brown and dull, but the males are super colorful chameleons. They're like bright reds and blues, and they're really bright and colorful. Gorgeous animals, absolutely gorgeous animals. So I really, really want a panther chameleon, and I've wanted one for a long, long time. And there just happens to be one of the probably best panther chameleon breeders in the United States, in Maryland, in Baltimore, and I see her at like every show we go to, and every time I'm like, why have I not bought one yet?
Charm City
Chameleons.
Oh, wow.
Charm City, she might be because Chams. Anyway, yeah. So, but they're gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous animals.
So what is your time frame of getting one? Because you clearly have a connection where you can get one from someone.
A decade ago, my time frame was like a year or two. So I'm pretty sure I have no idea what the time frame is.
Oh, wow! You've been pushing it off this long. Wow.
Yeah, it's been something I've wanted for a long time. Eventually, I will get one. Eventually.
Okay. Somebody say DG. Yes. DG is definitely on my plans to do stuff with very rapidly next year. I'm going to breed my DG male to a lot of females next year and hold back a lot of het girls to raise up and hopefully sell some het males that can help me buy a visual female. I hate these flies. I got to get one of those fly strips. I'm gonna have to invest in one. There's only like 2 flies in here, and they're just bugging the mess out of me. I'm going fly hunting after this live is over, just so you guys know. But yeah. What's the insight on your plan with DG? I know you got it already in pied. What else are you planning to put it into?
So we've got it in pied. We've got it in clown from that newest clutch that just came out.
Oh yeah.
We should have it hopefully in Ultramel this year. I'm hoping.
Okay.
Maybe.
Well,
maybe
Ultramel got.
We'll see. Yeah.
That didn't work out so well.
Yeah, I understand that. I've had a couple girls. I was like, "You're going to go? No, you're not going. You're going to no. Oh, what are you doing?
You don't. What are you want some water? You don't want some water? You go good? You good?"
That's how our whole season has been this year.
Oh yeah, it is. That is frustrating at times. But it's all a part of the breeding. They go when they want. You just have to be ready.
I guess my answer is we're putting DG into everything we can, really.
Okay.
Like we pretty much bred our Desert Ghost, Visual Desert Ghost, Lemon Blast Yellow Belly, Het Pied male to as many females as we could safely breed him to this year. He is finally taking a break and back on food and eating, but he had a busy year. He put in a lot of work for us. Unfortunately, our Soulsucker Desert Ghost male didn't want to lock this year. So I don't think we may get one clutch from him. We have a female that ovulated, but she actually had that first male go in with her afterwards because the other male only saw lock like once or twice, and then he just stopped locking, which is a bummer because that Soulsucker Desert Ghost male is a world's first, not from us, but it is a world's first.
Yeah.
From Doug Knacker at Hissy Fit. So we were hoping to maybe get some of our world's first this year, but that's not going to happen. And then, unfortunately, our visual Desert Ghost female had a medical issue, had to take her to the vet, so she didn't breed through this year. So she had an abscess in her mouth, so she stopped eating, so we stopped breeding her just to be safe.
Yeah.
So she didn't go this year, and then our Super Pastel Desert Ghost girl we thought was going to go, and
I think she's just fat.
She went through what looked seriously. This is a funny one. She went through what looked like an ovulation like 2 weeks ago, and we were like, okay, she's going to finally stop eating because she's an eater, and she's just kept eating the last 2 weeks. So now I don't know what's going on with her. I'm like, it looked like an ovulation. We both looked at it and we're like, she's big like an ovulation. That's clearly an ovulation. And now she's still eating, which she shouldn't be.
And she just shed, so it's not quite the right time either.
That throws you off.
Totally. Yeah, everything. She's an oddball, so I don't think she's going to go this year, unfortunately, either. So, but we are going to have a lot of head.
Could be one of those girls that eat through all the way to lay eggs. I've had a girl like that ate through right before she dropped eggs, but that shed is what's really throwing everything off. Like, that always,
didn't make any sense. So we're going to have a lot of het desert ghosts from that boy, and everything he produces is also going to be 50% het pied at a minimum if we didn't breed into something visual pied. So, yeah.
So you have some nice het desert ghost females and males you're going to release. So are you releasing all the hets? Or are you going to keep back some of them? Or you haven't decided yet?
So het females will probably be keeping some stuff back. Okay. Het males will probably be getting rid of. We did breed him to another pied again this year, pied female, that laid eggs. So if we did produce a visual version of him, which it would be visual pied het desert ghost, we might keep that male back just because it'd be nice to have something kind of opposite instead of being visual desert ghost het pied, be visual pied het desert ghost. To do different stuff with. So other than that, though, I don't know that we're keeping a whole bunch back male wise. We may keep one or two here or there if we get something that's like, hey, it hits all the codoms as well from the pairing. Maybe we'll keep a male back as well that's het desert ghost just to get some of those extra codoms into our desert ghost stuff. But most of the males will probably go.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So I don't see any questions in the chat. So we're gonna go to our last question on my list. I was gonna say last question tonight, but you never know. Somebody might have another question. But yeah, any tips for someone starting a reptile YouTube channel?
Ooh, YouTube channel. I'm gonna let Holly go first on this one.
To me, I think be genuine, share whatever you can. Nothing is too small, I don't think, to share. I really don't know what else. I just think that being genuine in general, whatever YouTube video you do or channel you do, is needed, because I feel that people can see through a facade and don't want to deal with people that seem fake. And so I don't, clearly I don't hold back a lot. I am who I am. And I hope that people just appreciate that's, that what we're doing is genuine.
Yeah. For me, so I'm an introvert at heart. It might not seem like it here while I'm chit-chatting with you guys, but I could live in my house and never go out again, and I'd be perfectly happy. Like,
understandable.
I work from home because of COVID now, and it's like the greatest thing. COVID is awful. Don't get me wrong. Working from home and not having to see people is like the greatest things ever happened in my life. So, on the flip side of that, part of my career has always been training people and getting in front of groups of people and having to talk. So I've had to overcome being an introvert who doesn't want to be in front of a big group of people and being able to talk in front of a big group of people. So I guess my tip's going to be more on how do you get comfortable in front of a camera. And that the thing that's helped me the most, especially get over, I still have some tics when I talk, but to get over the ums and the uhs and the big long pauses that you get when you first start doing this stuff, the biggest help for me that somebody ever told me is whenever you're given a presentation, just pretend you're talking to a friend. How would you talk to a friend? Because the reality is people try to get this special way to present, and it doesn't feel natural because you're not trying to do it in a natural way to you. So if you just talk the way you would to a friend, even if you're presenting something, like I have to present technical stuff to people, but I'll still do it as if I'm just trying to teach a friend how to do that technical thing, right? Rather than trying to present to a group of other technically minded people, I always default to, how would I teach a friend how to do this? How do I talk to a friend about how I would do this? What would I do if a friend was here in the room with me? So if you're just trying to get comfortable, pretend you're talking to a friend and just talk the way you naturally would. And it's going to come across naturally because it is the way you naturally talk. And I see you smirking over there at me.
I promise you, I wasn't. I was laughing at the fact that the cat's going nuts.
Oh, okay. I was figured you were like laughing at me. I'm like, no, that's not true at all.
That's a great tip. I've never even thought of it that way. That is a great tip. Yeah. Oh wow, I'm gonna have to try to start doing that. I know when I started stop trying to spew information and just talked about what I was going to talk about and just let it come out, more of my personality came out and people start to get to know more of my personality and like, you know what? I like him. And that did help me get more comfortable too.
So let's drop the curtain here for a second. We were chatting before this live stream via live, getting ready for this.
That's not movie magic. What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. Us just chit-chatting, laughing, having a good time. Do that in your videos. That's exactly what people want to see. People just want to see act natural. People want to feel like they're talking to the person next door or their friend when they're listening to stuff. So put that in your videos.
Yep.
You said the favorite part of our videos is when Holly and I go on rants, just ribbing each other, because that's what we do in real life every day, all day for the past 2 decades, is just rib each other and laugh about it all day long. And so a lot of people have said that's the favorite part of our videos, is because it's just us being genuine and laughing and just doing stupid stuff, right?
Yeah.
You have to laugh to keep from crying.
Oh wow. Come here, just dry, like you gotta laugh and keep from crying. Just hit it right there. Oh wow. Yeah. Those are the moments. Yeah. 4040 Pythons, thanks for coming through. Yes, this is a great question. He's gonna start a YouTube channel very soon too. I've been talking to him, so look out for his channel. Angel, what's up? Thanks for coming through. We're gonna get Angel on one of these down the road because we're working on him to start his channel too. He's gonna post his first video maybe soon, but we're working on it. We definitely, because I put this question in there because I've always spewed, do a channel. This is what you do. It's gonna be bad. First video, don't worry, gonna be horrible. Probably, You're gonna move past it. Second video, gonna be just as bad, but you're gonna move past it. You're gonna keep it going.
Pretty much, yeah.
Video 29 is where you're gonna hit your sweet spot, and it's gonna be okay. And you're gonna be like, you know what? I think I know what I'm doing now, and that's the way it works. It's gonna be
got there in 29 videos. I feel like we took 100 to get there.
It sounds like dating. First day is gonna suck.
It's gonna suck.
But eventually, when you get married, it'll be all right.
Yeah, eventually you're gonna find somebody be like, hey, I'll deal with you now, and you're fine. It's the way it works. After life is beating you down,
somebody that hates all the same stuff you hate, and it works. Like
somebody you can deal with most of the time.
Like, you only upset me 20% of the time, so that's how I judge this. I can easily get away from you for 20% of the time I'm with you, no problem.
We have separate rooms in this house for a reason.
I'm like, that's why they built basements. Let's be realistic. But yeah, I just wanted to get somebody else's perspective of what you should do when you start your YouTube channel, or what you should kind of be thinking about. And like Daryl, that was great advice, even for me. That's something I'm going to start being more aware of and try to input into my videos. Just, I'm talking to a friend, using my friend's name Samsung because he's my camera. But yeah, that's going to be my new friend.
Yeah, listen, it's helped me a lot. That's been a big help for me.
Yes, you have, Ron. You guys are, what is that saying? Two peas in a pod. There we go. Yeah. Holly, you got any tips for starting a YouTube channel? Wait, you already said yours. I think I got so excited about Daryl's, I blacked everything out.
My advice was good. The brain.
It was such a good advice.
Yours was crap, Holly.
Holly, your advice was so bad we've already forgot what it was.
No. Oh, see, we're gonna end this on a terrible day. But it was such good advice. I forgot everything because I never thought about it. I always was told if you're gonna do a speech, picture everybody naked, so then you feel even more awkward. And I was like, that never works.
What if everybody's attractive? That's a terrible idea.
Exactly.
That'd be bad.
They don't ever say picture everybody naked and ugly. No, they just say naked.
They don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Like, geez. So now I'm thinking of everybody being my friend and I'm just talking to them. So that makes it even more, like, I feel so much more comfortable now thinking about that. That is a great advice. Wow. I never thought of that.
It's like that one YouTube channel that I listen to that I tell you, she's a true crime podcast. And she talks about like a scenario from like, you know, either a serial killer or something dark in the past, but it sounds like she's gossiping to you. So it's like,
FYI, everybody heard that. It's on a recorded video. If I get murdered one day, we know why and by who, because it's now on video that she spends all the time watching and listening to murder stuff and how people get away with the murders or get caught. So she knows what not to do now when she kills me.
That's the thing. Everybody gets caught.
They do.
I missed you if I killed you.
You'd miss me like after you killed me. You'd be like, "Ha, he's gone," and like, "Oh, who's gonna do that stuff that I did?"
You're going to take care of me now.
Who's gonna do the YouTube videos we do? Because I just stare at people.
Exactly.
Holly,
he's the editor too, so he's
is he? Oh yeah, you're really. Yeah, you got to stay around now, Daryl. You got to edit the videos.
God, can't poison me now, can you?
Yeah. I just want to put this out here. I want I can't talk. I want a video just Holly. Where are we getting that? When are we doing that? Don't do that.
I need a little bit more time to
get some alcohol in her system.
Oh wow!
That would be a video. Oh my gosh!
Hey,
get drunk with me and play with snakes. That's a
there
video
you go. There. That's a whole new segment. Get drunk with Holly and play with snakes.
Drunk with Holly and snakes.
There you go.
Terrible idea. Because you think that I went off on a tangent about Jamaica then. Just you wait until I've had a little bit of whiskey.
Oh, wow. I'm seeing all the views on this video. I can see it happening. Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Me out to be such an amazing person.
Oh, so Ron's wife is watching the same thing, so they're going to get together.
Oh, Ron, be careful. She might be trying to kill you.
People act like that's weird. They always say that. They're always like, "Oh man, you must know." No, all these idiots get caught all the time.
They do. I mean, every episode ends in the woman getting caught because of one minor detail that she thought she had everything covered, and it'd be something that you don't even think about.
Exactly. Plus, these people are the people that like must hate themselves or their spouses. Like
you know, I once heard a statistic that you have to do something for 4,000 hours before you become an expert. So when Holly's video watching hits 4,000 hours, I am in trouble.
That's when you start worrying.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about anything, babe.
All right, we got any questions? It is. Don't worry. No worries there. Any questions in the chat for Daryl and Holly before we go ahead and end this live? We'll give it a couple seconds. But while we're giving it a couple seconds, we're going to go ahead and say thanks to our sponsor for this episode. We're going to wait for it to come up. And bam, 212 Exotics sponsored this episode. Rashad at 212 Exotics. Go check out his YouTube channel and his Instagram and his Facebook and his TikTok. He is a ball python breeder. He just put out a new video Friday showing you update on clutch 5 for him and 6. Go check it out. Great guy, great videos. He's been a guest on the Under 1,000 podcast, so you can also watch those episodes too and see what he has in his collection from ball pythons and to other reptiles. So definitely go check him out. Let him know I sent you, and thanks again for sponsoring this episode. So I know he just redesigned it too. He redesigned it. I think maybe like 4 or 5 months ago he redesigned it, so he's doing kind of a rebrand to an extent, and it looks really cool. I'm really digging it. He sent me a shirt of his old logo, so now I have to yell at him so he can send me a shirt of his new logo because I think it's way more cooler. So I'm gonna have to get on top of that. This has been fun. Yes, has been fun. So we have no questions. Thank you again, Daryl and Holly. Appreciate you guys coming on, sharing some laugh, having some good times, talking about your reptiles. Anything you want to promote?
No.
That's when you go, hey, we have a sales video coming out in a week.
That's right. Gershon,
come on, guys.
Thank you, Gershon, for promoting our video.
I was just going to be cheesy.
No, I got it. I got this. Okay. So we do for sale videos occasionally on our YouTube channel. We put out a video every Saturday. Next Saturday's video is going to be a for sale video. Our for sale videos put all of our animals out to YouTube for sale first. And if you buy them in the first week, you get 10% off before they go to Morph Market.
There you go. So look out for that video Saturday. There's no designated time yet, huh?
We typically release our video at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
All right, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Look out for that for sale video from Exquisite Exotics. See what they have for sale. They have, is it crested geckos or just geckos? Crested geckos. So they have crested geckos and they have ball pythons they have for sale. So you might see something you want. And if you contacted them after that video goes up, you get 20% off?
10%.
10% off.
As long as you buy it in the first week, or at least put a deposit down in the first week, because after the first week, it goes up for sale on Morph Market.
Gotcha. So get there quick and send them a message quickly if you see something you want. Thanks again, guys. Greatly appreciate you guys coming on the show. We always have a good time. Holly, I am looking for that Holly's Drinking with Snakes. I renamed it. I think it was smoother. Holly Drinking with Snakes is smoother. So I think that's what we should do.
You know what? I'll go to the liquor store and I'll be ready.
All right. Thanks again, guys. Greatly appreciate it. Thanks everybody for coming through. Once again, go ahead and go hit the subscribe button on Exquisite Exotics YouTube channel. Check out their Facebook. Check out their Instagram and leave them a message to tell them to do TikTok videos and stop just watching TikTok. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you guys in the chat for coming. And I'll see you guys. What is the day? We have I'll have a video coming out Thursday. And then Under 1,000 podcast, I'll tell you to guess tomorrow because I still have to do the thumbnail. So you'll see me Thursday in my next video. So thank you, and everybody have a rest of the good evening because we're doing this during the day. I forget that.
Bye, everybody.
I
gotta go finish mowing the lawn and stuff. Do some more trimming. But all right, bye-bye, everybody.